So we've talked about some conflicts that there have already been between the British and the American colonists, but now these are going to sort of fester, and we're going to see legislation passed by the British government that really exacerbates the issues that are going to cause the American Revolution. So before we start, I wanted to do the KWL chart of the causes of the Revolution, just based on what you guys know. Being that we are American citizens, we should have a good idea of some of the causes already. So can I have a volunteer? Sam.
One of them was there was the taxation about representation and how the colonists they were afraid about how their voice wasn't getting heard.
Exactly. Taxation without representation. Good. Jamie. Okay, that is actually a cause of why colonists came to America, but that's good review. Okay, anybody else? No? All right, good. You guys are going to learn a lot today then. Is there anything? So, now we'll get started with the lecture here. So, some things to keep in mind when we're going through this. What rights should people be guaranteed? How would you feel if your rights were abused? And we're going to see that the colonists believed that their rights were abused, which caused them to think that revolution was the best course of response to these violations of their rights. Why is it important to establish your rights? That's something that we'll see throughout this lesson as well. Who decides the rights of people? The colonists did not believe that the British government had the right to govern them overseas, being that they were, like I said, violating their rights. And also, should action be taken if rights are abused? And we'll talk about that as well. So, in 1763, the Proclamation of 1763 was created by the British government to stop colonists from moving west on native lands. This was a major effort to control and keep colonists in one general area. On the map here, you can see that the colonists all were basically kept near the eastern coast here. Beyond this line, this is the Native American Reserve. This is where the natives were allowed to stay. With that, being that the border was right there, this also regulated the fur trade, which took place a lot of times between the colonists and Native Americans. This is the big part of this proclamation, is that the British stationed 10,000 soldiers in the colonies. They didn't necessarily have enough forts and barracks to house all of these troops, so this led to the Quartering Act of 1765, 2 years later. And the colonists believed that this was a direct violation of their right to privacy because they were forced to give quarter to soldiers if they requested it. Any questions? Okay. Also, with the idea that their rights were being violated, the Sons and Daughters of Liberty were created in the mid-1760s. Specifically, they focused on the Stamp Act and the Townshend Acts, which we'll talk about a little bit more in detail in a couple of slides. Okay, so now with your clickers, why don't you take about 30 seconds to answer this question. Is that everybody? Let's see what you guys said. 9 said 1, and someone said answer 2. Okay. Well, every answer is what the colonists in these two organizations did. But the correct answer is A. So, good job to everybody. Alright, so why don't you guys get out your iPads and log on to Kahoot. So here's the pin. You guys can enter that, and then you guys should have access to the review that's going to cover everything that we talked about in the interactive lecture about the causes of the American Revolution.
Good job, Jeremy.
Nice. Right? Yes.
Alright, so to wrap things up here, what are some things that you guys learned in today's lesson? Sam,
That the Quartering Act also influenced the American Revolution.
how did it do that?
Because the British were able to put soldiers in the homes of the colonists, and the colonists didn't like that because they thought it would go against their privacy.
Yes. So we'll call it an invasion of privacy?
Yeah.
Good. Josh, you have your hand up?
Yeah, the Stamp Act.
Stamp Act.
Yeah.
What about it?
Basically taxed almost all printed materials.
Nice.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? All right, good job today.